Right, welcome back to Partial Knowledge Check, where I teach you some key information, knowledge checks, and general counterplay to some Layer 1 and Layer 2 tactics commonly used by players. In this video, we'll be going over Mai. Key information: unique movement options. Mai has access to two unique movement options in her command flip and her command dash. These play a part in her overall kit on defense, offense, and everywhere in between. Her flips, Moon Blossom, have a dive kicks follow-ups that can be delayed to power them up, giving them a second hit once she hits the ground. She can't block or air dash after flipping, but she can cancel into normals and another flip once in the air. Her command dash, Juncture, has follow-ups that have a tipper mechanic that changes the property of the attacks to guard crush when they connect only on the very last active frame. She can also cancel her command dash into itself indefinitely. Drive system, X Seal. Mai's drive lets her throw a spear that she can choose to throw at one of three angles, on the ground or in the air, and redirect once, giving her a strong presence at any screen positioning. She can charge it in order to make it unblockable on the first hit, and she has the option to change the angle during charging. Spear throws can also cancel into her specials on the first hit. In Overdrive, the spear charge time is almost halved, and the spear will redirect an additional time after making contact with the opponent if not cancelled out of. In addition to this, the dive follow-ups from her command flips are automatically the charged versions, and follow-ups from her command dash Juncture gain more hits. More details about the command dash and flip will be talked about later. Unique ability, Variable Arts. Mai has a different Gatling system to other characters, which also gives her access to whiff cancelled normals. Her grounded attacks have specific follow-ups depending on the button pressed, and understanding what follow-ups enable which options is key to mastering how you want to defend in this matchup. A full explanation and advice on how to structure your defense around it will be given later. Normals. Mai's jump cancelable normals are 5A, 5XA, and 2C. Pay attention at these points in a string in order to interrupt any jump pressure resets if you can react in time. 5A is a 6-frame start-up jab that hits crouches and can be used 3 times in a string. It is jump cancelable and chains into any of her standing arts. 2A is a 7-frame low that can be used twice in a string and has a strong low profile, so be careful when playing RPS in neutral frame advantage situations, even if your 5A does hit crouching. 5XA is a +1 on block strike that can be used to stagger pressure and links into 2A for a combo. Specials. Mentioned before, Mai only has 2 specials: Moon Blossom, commonly referred to as Flip, that has dive bomb follow-ups, and Juncture, referred to as a command dash, which also has follow-up attacks. Flip is available in the air, whereas Juncture is only available on the ground. The Flip is foot and throw invuln on startup and completely invuln from frame 5. This means that against a lot of characters who don't have crouching and jabs, there's an RPS situation even when Mai is up to -5. I would recommend occasionally hitting her with body, head, or projectile property attacks on her wake up, and also when frame trapping in order to discourage the usage of Flip, although this may or may not weaken your character's potential offensive threat. Both these specials can see uses in offensive pressure sequences. Flip can be used to relatively safely disengage and observe your actions, and Junction can be used as a countermeasure to barrier or to simply reset pressure. Understanding variable arts and structuring your defense. Each of Mai's standing normals can cancel into at least one follow-up art. 5A and 5B can both cancel into 5XA, 5XB, and 5XC on contact or whiff. 5C can only cancel into 5XC. All these arts have 3 follow-ups unique to their own chain, which contribute to Mai's offensive structure. Mai also has 2XC, which is accessible from 2A and 2B, but it has no follow-ups. The X represents any normal beforehand that can cancel into the art. 5XA. 5XA follow-ups include a slam, 5XAA, a high projectile, 5XAB, and a low projectile, 5XAC. The projectiles can be alternated once one has been shot, and Mai can cancel into specials shortly after one is fired, even if it doesn't make contact. I would recommend trying to instant block the slam to make it -6, and reacting to the high projectile spam with low profile sweep or a long range low. 5XB is a block string filler that doubles as a bodyguard point stance when held. This chain has a low 5XBA, a frame trap mid 5XB6A, and a 20 frame overhead 5XB8A that has foot invuln from frame 4. I would recommend you default block low and react high to the sound cue of the overhead to help. The mid is -11 on block, so be sure to punish this when the opportunity arises. Note that Mai can actually bypass the strike and go straight into the stance by holding 4. This may throw off your timing for when to block the overhead and recognizing the situation. 5XC is a long-range neutral poke and combo filler. It chains into 2 overheads, 5XCA, which uses her spear, and 5XCB, which uses her heal and is +7 on block. 5XCC is a multi-hit flurry attack that can be cancelled into drives and specials for the first 12 hits. The quickest way for Mai to go into a low after 5XC without meter is to cancel into Juncture and then use 2A, which takes takes a total of 27 frames and should be very reactable. If she doesn't have 50 meter or is at range, I would recommend stand blocking quickly after blocking 5xc to auto defend against both overheads. 5xc-B can be interrupted with most jabs or fast mids, especially if you instant block 5xc, and 5xc-A is very weak to overdrive activation. Jumping and inputting air barrier immediately after blocking 5xc will also allow you to avoid the plus frames of 5xc-B while also air barriering 5xc-A. Any variable art that can be cancelled into a special, which is all the second ones in the chain, can also be cancelled into crush trigger, so do keep that in mind during pressure when it can be a problem. Tipper mechanic. Speaking of guard crushes, Mai's Himayuri attacks have a tipper mechanic where if they make contact on only the last active frame, they will either guard crush on block or pop the opponent up on hit during a combo. Knowing this, you need to be familiar with the tipper spacings and be sure to barrier wherever you suspect they might go for it, noting that it's easier to hit those spacings if you use barrier a lot. A tipper will only grant a combo on counter hit or with RC, but B tipper will grant a combo regardless. Tippers are +0 on barrier block. Meaty 226B after burst. After hitting you with a burst, Mai can meaty you with a slightly delayed 226B tipper if you use emergency tech immediately. While you have options like delay tech, back roll, and backdash, these can be easily called out by a delayed input from the Mai, so potentially this will leave you in a worse position than if you simply use barrier on wake up to deal with the situation. Alternatively, you can actually punish the Mai by doing only a slightly delayed emergency tech and catching their recovery. This will avoid tipper and will give you a window to hit Mai. They instead use 5xac to try and lock you down from full screen. You can simply jump away. Grounded 226A resets. On very short grounded combos ending with 226A, Mai can be left anywhere from +0 to +4 depending on the starter, length of the combo, and whether your character is standing or crouching. Mai's can potentially use this pseudo reset situation to go for something like a grab for those that aren't ready, and will use it to play RPS for those that are. Simply rotate between your defensive options to call out whatever you think the Mai will be going for. Backdash being a universal option for all frame advantages, but Mai can call this out with 5xc. Bear in mind that the distance changes depending on whether or not 226A is delayed, which can be used to space trap. 5A and 2A trade frame data. Following on from being in a +0 situation against Mai, you should know that her jabs have 2 more frames of hitstun than most characters. This means that in a jab trade scenario, unless she dies from it, it's actually in her favor, giving her a +2 but at a slightly bigger distance than point blank. Air blocking charged flip dives. Charged dives are +3 on grounded block and are often used to retake or force pressure. However, the second hit of the charged dive, which gives a plus frames, does not connect on airborne opponents. So, jumping when you see or expect to flip into a charged dive can be a good way to guarantee a punish on predictable Mai players. Hurricane Assault 226D. This super is not invuln from frame 1, but having it come out is a result of a mistimed meaty or a large gap in pressure, as it is actually invuln from frame 4. Mai's will often use this in neutral to either snipe a committal attack or to catch someone flinching after doing multiple command dashes to get right up in their face, so be ready for either of them. The second hit coming down is not an overhead, but depending on your momentum during the animation, it may cross you up, so be mindful of that, and you should also take care for RC into a low or a throw if the Mai happens to have 100 meter. Lastly, this move has a deceptively large invuln window that lasts until Mai lands from the flip after the dive, so take care with your punish timing. You have more time than you think, and you need to cover more distance than you think. Blizzard Blossom 214D. Blizzard Blossom is a guard point reversal super, meaning if you make contact with it, you can cancel into something else just as you would be able to on block. If you input another normal during this time, you have until the super flash ends to override it with a special input or overdrive. If you cancel into overdrive in this specific way, however, you will still need to block the actual attack of the super as its class as overdrive cancel and won't outlast Mai's super's active frames. The next problem comes when Mai starts to hold the super to catch the startup of your next Gatling. For this reason, I would recommend delaying your Gatlings greatly to give you enough time to react to the guard point, or using jump cancels early in strings to make the Mai wary of using the charged version. General counterplay. Astral and covering all reversals. Mai's Astral is her only real reversal, but it's slow at 15 frames and easily punishable. When Mai has all of her reversals available, using a projectile or a doll attack to meaty her while you react to what she does could be a reliable tactic. Alternatively, you can time a body attack with 13 frames or less recovery on their wake up and react accordingly. Drives in neutral. Mai's drive can be a pain for some characters with limited mobility. However, otherwise, I would encourage you to make use of dash barrier break and dash jump in attempts to make the spear whiff so you can try to whiff punish it. Just be aware that she can redirect the spear once in order to cover for her bad throws. Once you get used to how it travels, you can play around this and punish her. She can also RC in order to save herself if the drive or the redirection make contact. Drives in pressure. When a Mai starts using drives in pressure, things start to get a bit trickier, but remember that the quickest startup for a drive is 25 frames when not in overdrive, meaning you can jump out of them if they get too predictable with it. They will likely use 2D to ensure that they hit a crouching hurtbox, meaning you can jump over it and attempt to punish. After you've shown this counterplay, they might redirect 2D to catch you at the peak of your jump. This leaves Mai plus and putting you back in a similar situation. If you read this, you can simply block on the ground and you'll be +9 and be able to punish. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you learned something. Share with others so they know how to fight Mai, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.